Okay, and we are live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stuart here from Spain Speaks. Hope everybody is well today. Sunday evening, 7:35 p.m. Another live stream looking at some of the news that has caught my attention over the weekend here from Spain. Also, some of the comments that were left on videos recently. We'll have a look at some of those also, and we'll go into the chat section and see what's happening there. And I can see to my right that there is already action in the chat section. So we'll have a look at some of that quickly. Simon coming in from Lanzarote with van and dog after a bumpy ride from Fuerteventura. So island hopping down there in the Canaries. Simon, good to see. Island hopping. Emast Marianne coming in from San Diego, going to fly to Panama with a friend who hopes to retire there. Would Spain be a better idea for him? Not sure, Marianne, if Spain or Panama would be the most suitable option for your friend. It depends on what they're looking for at the end of the day. I was speaking to somebody the other day whose brother lives in Panama, and apparently he enjoys it there. Nice weather all year round, of course, plenty of things to do, and one of the safest parts of that region apparently, well, according to the person that I spoke to the other day. But again, if anybody has more information on Panama, please in the chat section let Marianne know. What else we got going on here? Gino coming in from Canada, excited about the World Cup. Hopefully Spain does well with its young team. Vamos la Furia Roja. Not sure what Spain's chances are this year in the World Cup. The trainer, can't remember his name at the moment, Luis Enrique, said today that if Spain doesn't win, he hopes Argentina wins. So not sure, but as you said here, Gino, the team very young this year. So not sure whether they're going to relive their 2010 triumph in the World Cup, but you never know. You never know. I think it's already kicked off today with the game between Qatar and Ecuador. So it's going to be an interesting tournament. Let's see how Spain goes. And the other teams that are participating, of course, Australia's in it again for the 6th World Cup in a row, I believe. England's there again this year. Italy, the big team that's missing, of course. So it opens it up for other teams to have an opportunity there, no doubt. Now, first piece of news, this one here today. Spain will face the mildest recession among the major Eurozone countries. The economic forecasts for Spain are beginning to paint a less tense 2023 than expected. The Funcas panel forecasts economic growth of 4.5% for 2022 and 1.1% for next year. Specifically, the data collected by the entity suggests that Spain will narrowly avoid technical recession in the first quarter of 2023, although it opens the door to a subtle contraction of the economy during the initial stretch of the year, which would be added to the fall in GDP in the last quarter. The Spanish economy is likely to enter a mild recession in the second quarter, says Juan Ángel Lafuente, professor of financial economics and accounting at the Jaume I or the First University, wherever that is. So, some good news there to start the live stream today. Spain will face the mildest recession among the Eurozone countries. Other countries are starting to go into recession, of course. Spain still growing. Next year is going to be the tricky question. But according to Funcas, which is a think tank here, an economic think tank here in Spain, which is run by one of the banks or one of the former cajas or savings banks, predicting that a mild recession possibly for Spain next year. So in line with what the Prime Minister is saying. So we're not going to get slapped like we did back in 2008 through to 2014, where we had the Great Spanish Depression back for those 6 years, where everything that could have gone wrong went wrong with the Spanish economy. But a mild recession, good news for many. Now, I'll put the like button on the screen here. If you have not hit it yet, please do so just below the video. We'll see if we can get up to a decent tally today. You never know. There might be some people watching the football replay of that first game, which I think has finished, but I'm not sure whether there are other games on tonight or not, or when the different teams are playing, because as you guys know, I'm not really a soccer or a football fan, but I'll watch the finals and the Australian games, of course. I think we play France, so a difficult game first up for the Aussies. All right, Michelle coming in from a cold and drizzly Vigo, where the Christmas lights are shining brightly. Yes, I saw that they were turned on the other day by the mayor of Vigo, Abel Caballero, I think his name was. Long-term politician there in Vigo. He's been the mayor since, well, I don't know, probably close to going on 15 years. I think he's been in power there in Vigo as the mayor. And of course, he was a minister in the central government back in the 1980s, I believe, in the Felipe González government. So he's been around for a long time, has Mr. Caballero, and his claim to fame nowadays are those Christmas lights in Vigo. I saw it yesterday on the news, something like 10 million, maybe more, maybe a few less, LED lights shining in that city. Thanks, Michelle, for the comment. Chris coming in from Alara in the Valle del Sol. Welsh Toto coming in, checking in from an unbelievably dull Birmingham. Had a great afternoon watching the Nutcracker Suite Ballet. Good to see you in the chat there, Welsh Toto. Mark coming in from Seville, hoping all are well. Alan coming in from the UK, asking me if I come from a land down under. The answer to that is yes, Alan, as you know. What else we got going on here? Angela coming in from Lanzarote. Mugga coming in from Dublin. Not in Spain at the moment, Mugga. That's right. I remember you said you were heading back there for a few days. And Alan coming in from, not sure where Alan comes in from, maybe the UK, maybe Spain. Let us know, Alan, in the chat section, please. And Miguel coming in from Derbyshire there in the UK. Now, next piece of news. And good news for many, of course. As we know, Hugh Elliott, the ambassador, the UK ambassador here in Spain, says that the sticking points in the UK-Spain driving licence agreement are resolved. The British ambassador to Spain, Hugh Elliott, has announced that an agreement has been reached on the 2 points that were holding up the bilateral deal that will allow residents in Spain, including the Canary Islands, to exchange their UK driving licences for Spanish ones without having to take a driving test. We have made a significant step forward, said the ambassador in the video posted on the Brits in Spain Facebook page, explaining that the two outstanding complex issues that had been holding up the deal have been resolved. Elliott went on to explain, however, that there are still numerous steps the process has to go through before UK licence holders can get back on the roads, including securing ministerial approval on both sides and the necessary treaty processes and formal exchanges, adding that he was unable to say how many weeks that process will take. So, some good news there that the licence agreement has been resolved between the two countries, which, as we know, has been dragging on for a fair while. They thought they were going to have it done before the summer. Didn't happen. And now the 20th of November, finally an agreement has been made. But as we saw, the ambassador there saying that it could take weeks until it becomes formal. Has to be published in the official state gazette here in Spain. And no doubt the British government also has to do something at their end. But a matter of time, I would say. Weeks, maybe a month. Who knows exactly, because with these things, you never know what's going to happen. And the 20th of November, next month here in Spain, December, is a month basically where nothing gets done except for Christmas celebrations, because we've got public holidays at the beginning of the month. There's 2 public holidays at the beginning of the month. Some people will take the whole week off, go traveling. Then we've got Christmas, which normally kicks in around the 20th of December, and that's going to go all the way through until the 6th of January. So that first Monday after the 6th is when people start getting back to normal. So if they haven't got something done in the next few days, December, as I said, is a tough month. But you never know. You never know. Maybe in the week or two when people are actually working, something will get done. Let's hope. Let's hope. For the sake of people that haven't been able to drive for quite a while now, which is a serious inconvenience for a lot of people. And we've seen some of the stories of people that live in remote parts of Spain, not necessarily in the cities. Because of course, if you live in a city, you've always got public transport options, but people that live more remotely in some smaller villages, towns, mountain areas, that aren't able to drive, a serious inconvenience for a lot of people. So some good news there, and I'm sure a lot of people are happy. Now we've got a super chat, I think, or a super sticker. Let's see if I can find it from Alan. Thank you very much for that, Alan. €5, or £5, sorry. So thank you very much for that super sticker. Greatly appreciated. Now let's change the background photo. let's see. I'll get rid of this background that I have here. One from Simon, who's in the chat, who's in Lanzarote, or he was in Lanzarote, I think, or he's there now. Not sure if it's the same person, but I think it is. And this is a nice picture of the desert-like conditions down there in the Canaries, and a mountain in the background, which, as we know, the Canary Islands quite mountainous down there. All right, what else we got going on here? Andrew coming in from Berlin. Iggy is here in the chat section. Regular Sunday viewer is Iggy. Hope all is well, Iggy, down there in Jaén. Greetings from Stan from Poland. Hello, Stan. Hope all is well. Alan, another regular contributor here. San Diego still. Pat coming in from a wet Galicia. Jose Antonio coming in from the Royal City down there in the middle of Spain. And Del coming in from Essex in the UK. And Dave, let's not forget Dave in Madrid. Hola Stu and todos, he says. Hello Dave, hope all is well. Now, third piece of news. Let's get through the news. Home sales recorded their best September in 15 years with 57,333 transactions, up 6.9%. Home sales rose by 6.9% year on year in September to 57,333 transactions, its highest figure for a September since 2007, when the number of sales exceeded 61,700, according to the National Statistics Institute. The year-on-year increase in housing sales and purchases in September was the result of a 10.7% rise in transaction on used homes to 47,279 sales and purchases, as transactions on new flats fell by 7.8% year-on-year, their largest decline since July 2020, and 10,000 transactions. With September's rise, the purchase of flats has now been on the rise for 19 consecutive months. However, the growth in transactions has moderated by 8 points compared with the year-on-year increase in August, when they rose by 14.9%. So there we go. The housing market here in Spain still buoyant. We'll see what it's like next year, of course, but 19 consecutive months with flat or apartment purchases on the rise. So a pretty buoyant, as I said, real estate sector at the moment in this country, which is good news for it. If you are in the property market looking to buy or sell, it might be a good time for you to do so. Now, what else we got going on? Linda, back in the chat section. Has been a while. Hope all is well. Welcome back, Linda. Erica coming in from Terrassa. They're in Catalonia. Joe coming in from Madrid. Hello, Joe. Janet coming in from Oxford. Alan back in the chats from Colorado. And Alan saying that Panama is not Schengen. Yeah, we know that, Alan. Panama is not Schengen. But I imagine for a lot of people there in the States, it is an option closer to home, of course. Just down there in at the tip or the bottom of Central America, I think, is Panama. Interesting story that country has. All right, what else we got going on here? Nico coming in from the Delta del Ebro. Windy there. And Joe giving his opinion on the football. Spain missing a world-class striker. Brazil are favourites. Yeah, that's what people are saying, Joe, that Spain doesn't have anybody there up front, up forward to score the goals. Been a bit of a dry spell when it comes to goals recently for the Roja national team. But you never know. They might unearth a striker throughout the tournament. You never know. Let's see. But people are optimistic, of course, because it hasn't started yet. But we'll see in a week's time if the Spaniards or other countries, for that matter, are still optimistic. Mark coming in. Mark Popple. Hello, everybody. Hello, Mark. Mark has got back to us on the weather there. 8 degrees in Dublin right now. He's been tenderised by the good weather in El Campello and not used to the cold Dublin weather. Belinda's coming in from Madrid. Madrid is beautiful. Can't wait to explore mañana. There we go, Belinda. Have a good look around tomorrow. Hope you enjoy Madrid. And it's not an ugly city, I will say. It's got its pros, it's got its cons. But as far as big dynamic cities here in Spain go, Madrid out on top, I think. Although Barcelona viewers would probably disagree, but that's my Madrid bias coming through. Carmen also coming in from Madrid. So a few people from Madrid today in the chat section, which is good to see. Now, the fourth piece of news, this one here. The Canary Islands attracts companies from all over the world due to its tax advantages, connectivity, and quality of life. Let's not forget the quality of life aspect. More than 700 national and international companies have already set up in the Canary Islands. The islands have become one of the most attractive destinations in Europe for innovation projects in emerging sectors such as offshore wind power, aeronautics and aerospace, as well as technological developments in the audiovisual and animation sector. Among the tax advantages offered by the islands are the reduced corporate tax rate of 4% and incentives for R plus D plus I, or R&D and I, and technological innovation of up to 45%. The Canary Islands government wants talent to be generated because the most important thing is to ensure that companies do well. They are attracted by the quality of life experienced in the islands. More than 12,000 jobs have already been created in highly innovative companies with highly qualified personnel. So there we go, the Canary Islands attracting companies from all over the world. Tax advantages, good connections down there, internet connections I imagine, and quality of life, which is very important. And in a place like the Canaries, as we know, where that weather is good 12 months of the year, I would say. Maybe you get a couple of weeks throughout the year, maybe a month throughout the year where it's not perfect, but for the rest of the time, everybody that I know that has gone to live in the Canary Islands, very happy with their decision. And of course, the background that we have at the moment are some of these spectacular views that you can get in that part of Spain, of course. Now, let's put the like button on the screen. Please, if you haven't hit it, just do so now. If you can, just below the video, you will find the like button, and we'll see if we can get up to 100 likes today, which could be possible, could not be possible. Who knows? Remy coming in from a chilling San Feliu. Hope all is good on Sunday. Absolutely. Well, I think we're all well today. What else we got going on here? Juan, great to catch the live tonight. Going back to London for a few days. Hope all goes well with your trip back to that big grey city that is London. Jose Antonio, okay, explaining Schengen, I think, to Linda. Yeah, it's no border controls, although there was an article in the paper the other day, Jose Antonio, that countries like Germany have reinstated border controls in some parts of their border, which is going against European Union agreements. So not sure what will happen there. And another thing that I read is that some new countries will soon be incorporated into Schengen, I believe, Romania being one of those. So Schengen might be extending its reach over the next couple of years. We'll see. But it is the freedom of movement that people have inside the European Union in the Schengen area. You can cross borders with no controls, apparently. But you never know if they, as I said, the Germans might have put a few up in recent times. But Spain to Portugal, Spain to France, for example, no border controls. Just cross the border and away you go. All right, what else we got going on? Ignace coming in from a frosty Utrecht. Reveille, talking about think tank run by one of the banks doesn't exactly fill me with confidence. Most of the think tanks are either political organizations or financial sector organizations, so one or the other, Reveille, basically. What else we got going on here? Have I heard anything about Spain scrapping the 90-day rule? Only what I've read in some of the British papers. I think they're retro. Pretty difficult for it to happen. I think we've come to that conclusion considering that the Schengen group would need to be on board with this. I don't think Spain can reach a bilateral agreement. But then again, who knows what is possible inside the European Union. But again, if they scrap it in Spain, they'd probably have to scrap it in the other Schengen countries as well, which would be a little bit more difficult to do. But you never know. Spain is apparently going to ask the European Union to do that. But as I said the other day, I read the same article last year with the same person saying exactly the same thing. Look it up if you want. Fernando Valdés is the name of the person. And last year, around the same time, he was saying exactly the same thing. So nothing's been done over the last 12 months. All right, Brian coming in from La Marina. Spain certainly a lot cheaper than the UK. Yeah, not sure, Brian. Obviously, haven't been to the UK for a while now. And the last time I went, I was only in London, so it's not really doesn't really give you a good feel of what prices are in the UK if you're going to central London. But there are some things here that are definitely cheaper, no doubt. All right, what else we got going on here in the chat section? Let's see. Did I see the first World Cup match? Says Carmen. No, I did not, Carmen. But thank you for the comment there. I was having a siesta, I think, when the game was on today. I was a little bit tired. Had a big night last night, so I needed to recharge the batteries, and I missed that first game. Qatar, Ecuador. Not really anything there for me. What else we got going on here? YD coming in from a Chris Pontevedra. Had the chance to visit Bilbao and ended up going to a sketchy kebab meat place and had the best sketchy kebab pizza. There we go. Every cloud, YD. Every cloud. What else we got going on here? City fan. Talking about the rain in Barcelona is Daryl. You got some, Daryl? Good to see. And cold in Barcelona. Cold in Barcelona. There we go. There we go. And Dave saying that brilliant weather today in Madrid. It was a nice day, Dave, I will say. 16 degrees. Not sure what it's going to be like tomorrow. I think it might be a bit wet. But the cold is coming. The cold is coming. All right, word of the day time. Considering that we are in the middle of a World Cup, or World Cup just starting, I should say, esguince. Esguince, sprain. For example, an ankle sprain where you, or maybe you tear the ligaments, sprain. Gaia, who's a football player in the Spanish team, uno de tus sueños se va al traste por un esguince leve. One of your dreams is shattered by a slight sprain. So Gaia is out of the World Cup because of a sprain, esguince, and that's the word of the day. So if you are here in Spain and you suffer an ankle sprain or a wrist sprain, esguince, esguince, esguince is the word. See if I can get my tongue around that word. Esguince. There we go. All right, good. Hope it comes in handy, that word. All right, good. Bill coming in from York, UK. Renata coming in from Hungary. Elaine coming in from New Jersey. Profesora de Español or de Inglés? Elaine, let us know. Janet coming in. We said Janet's coming in there. Alan, sorry, that was you. I was referring to Alan. Southeast London, thank you very much. I wasn't sure whether you were here in Spain or in England, but there we go. Juan saying that port customs at Santander getting much stricter. Okay, thanks for the information there, Juan. You obviously drove back or went back on the ferry, so stricter controls. Thanks for that. And what else we got going on here? Let's have a look if I can find something here quickly. There we go. Linda taught English in Murcia from Cape Town, South Africa. Fantastic. Hope you had a good experience down there in Murcia teaching English. And I imagine it's a bit different to Cape Town is Murcia. Thanks for the comment there, or the chat there, Linda. Now, the first comment for today, this one here from Kathleen. Thank you for the very informative information, Stu. There is still a lot of helpful, kind people who give up their time to help others. Yes, Kathleen, absolutely. We saw yesterday, I published a video about an initiative run by a charity here in Spain called Age in Spain, and they're organising a Good Neighbour Award. If you live here in Spain and you've got somebody that you would like to nominate for this Good Neighbour Award, you can do that on their website, and there's a prize involved. I think there's a couple of prizes involved. One of the prizes, the main prize, is a dinner for two in the city of choice where you live. And also you might get official confirmation, I think, from the British ambassador, who's apparently going to pull a name out of a hat, I think. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to work, but it is important to have a good network of friends or neighbours here in Spain, just in case something happens as we get older, which is the case for a lot of us, that we need to have those support networks in place. And for people that don't, Age in Spain does offer a fantastic service. You can get in contact with them if you've got any doubts or queries about residency, driving licenses, and all of these things, and other issues related to health. They can help you out. And but as I said, if you've got a good neighbour that you would like to nominate, maybe somebody in your urbanización, maybe somebody in your bloque de apartamentos who has a given you a hand to do something or has helped you out in the past, you can nominate them for the Good Neighbour Award Spain 2022. ageinspain.com or .es, not quite sure, but either one of the two, Age in Spain. So I'll try to find out what the exact email is or website address is. But get in contact with them if you want to participate in that award, Age in Spain. But as we can see here, sorry, from Kathleen, still a lot of helpful, kind people who give up their time. Absolutely, Kathleen. Very, very important. Now, back into the chat section here. Let's have a look here if I can find something. This is good news indeed, says Gary. But if we exchange the licenses, can we drive back in the UK with the Spanish license? Good question. Good question. I imagine there's going to be some type of bilateral agreement which will enable you to do that. But if you go back to the UK, if you go back to live, of course, you'll have to re-exchange your license again, I imagine, and get a British one. But if you just go back on holiday for a couple of weeks or for a couple of months, I think you can drive on your Spanish license in the UK for 6 months. But again, people in the chat section will know better than me on that issue. So please let Gary know what the exact details are if you can in the chat section. Killian coming in from Dublin. Rugby last night on there. Yeah, I forgot about the rugby. It's been overshadowed by the World Cup, obviously, but there have been some international rugby games going on. Australia's been doing terribly. We got beaten by Italy the other day for the first time ever. So Australian Rugby Union in turmoil at the moment. Not playing very well indeed. Even though we almost beat the All Blacks a couple of months ago, but recently, no good. No good. Unless we won yesterday, I haven't seen the result. What else we got going on? Ed, Brass Monkey Weather. Thanks for that, Ed. What else we got going on here? Let's see if I can find something. Here we go. Dave adding to the conversation. Panama was purchased from Colombia for $10 million. There we go. By the United States, I think. Because it was all about the canal. All about the canal. Very strategic position. But 10 million went into the Colombian coffers for that piece of land back in the day. All right, good. Daniel's saying that I wish they'd find an agreement with Australia for driver's license. Yeah, impossible, Daniel. Don't even think about that. It will never happen because, as you know, in Australia, every state has its own driver's license. So in WA, we've got one. Victoria, New South Wales, Queensland, Tasmania, South Australia, Northern Territory. Probably even the ACT would have its own driver's license, so forget about it, Daniel. They will never come to an agreement with 6 individual states and the territories as well. It'll never happen, similar to the way it will never happen with the United States either, because there's just too many different licenses. So, yeah, just enroll at the driving school, and get your license that way. It's what I had to do. And it was tough at the time, but I got over that hurdle and never looked back. All right, Julie. Hey Stu, as a Canadian citizen, I had no problems at all getting my NIE number in September 2022 when purchasing my home in Valencia province. Of course, this was accomplished in Oliva, Valencia. It took a week, so I guess it's where you are applying. Perhaps going to a smaller town is the charm. It worked for me. Yeah, not sure, Julie, exactly if there are differences between big places and small places when it comes to getting this number. I don't think I had any problems getting it back in the day. I think it was a fairly straightforward process. Getting the card was the physical plastic card was a little bit different because obviously they have to make it, prepare it and things like that. Another appointment. Getting the actual number I think was easier, and with the number I was able to open a bank account fairly easily and things like that. So thanks for the input, but there might be a difference if you do it in a small place or in a big place. Obviously big places there might be longer queues, but you would think they would have more staff in big places rather than small, but I don't know. But anyway, thanks. Now I'm going to change the backdrop. Considering it's Sunday, Iggy sent in another one, so we'll change it here. This one is Gandia, apparently, which Iggy said is a popular place with Madrileños, people from Madrid. It's actually Madrid on the beach. If you go there in August, 90% of the population is from Madrid, because I think it's the closest beach to Madrid, and that's one of the reasons why. And as you can see, people just move their lives from Madrid to Gandia for the summer. And there was even a reality show a few years ago called Gandia Shore, if you remember Iggy, which was the Spanish version of Jersey Shore, with similar characters and golfos and golfas in that show, if you remember. All right, good. Now we're up to 110 likes. I'll put the little like icon back on the screen. So if you haven't hit the like button, please do so, just below the video. And as you guys know, it keeps me motivated as I go through the news. Now we're up to the 30-minute mark, so 10 more minutes roughly. And back into the chat, what's going on here? Let's have a look if I can find something. Erica says, Madrid is as beautiful as Barcelona. They say maybe. I'm not sure what Erica there, but yeah, Madrid, Barcelona, the two biggest cities in this country. Madrid, of course, being the capital and having all of those government institutions here, which you can see those emblematic buildings throughout the city. And the museums, one of the big attractions of Madrid, of course. But Barcelona, it would be the weather, that Mediterranean weather, which would be fantastic. And the beach. Yes, the beach. Because in Madrid, no hay playa, as the famous song says. Vaya, vaya. In Madrid, no hay playa. All right, good. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look here. Another chat about the driver's license exchange. Stuart. Hi, Stuart. Do you know if the driving license agreement will cover the new Spanish residents as well as existing residents? Stuart in Tenerife. Yes, I imagine, Stuart, it will be for all British residents, whether they missed out on getting their license done before or whether they're newly coming into the country. It's just going to be the same as in other European Union countries where British people have the right to exchange their licenses. Okay, so for people coming in the future, yeah, I imagine, I can almost 100% guarantee that will be the case. So, yeah, Stuart, to answer the question. Because once the agreement gets done, as I said, in other European countries, I think the majority, maybe Italy's the only one that doesn't, but the rest have already reached an agreement for British people. So if a British person moves to a European country tomorrow, for example, they can just exchange their driver's license like they could when you guys were in the European Union. All right, good. What else is going on? Sorry, this one from Erica got cut off before. Madrid and Barcelona is just as interesting. Miss not being able to go to Madrid, a pending expedition when I'm able to retire. There we go. We just hop on the fast train, Erica. Head down there from Terrassa, from where you are there in Catalonia. Sure, it's not that difficult. All right, what else we got going on? All right, conversation going on here in the chat section. I'll come back in a minute when I can find something. Let's have a look. Here we go. Remy getting back to Daniel on that question about Aussie driving licenses. I wish also too. I'm going for my Spanish driver's license at the moment. At 60, not easy. No, it's not easy, Remy. But it's just a question of memorizing the questions, okay? So when you get the little book with all of the practice questions in it, just go through and do as many as you can, and you memorize them because there's no logic to the questions. I know that in Australia, the driving test there are a few questions that are common sense, but in the Spanish one, there are no common sense questions at all. It's just pure knowing the rules or not knowing the rules when it comes to speed limits, signs, and all of those things. So it's just a question of memorizing the questions, Remy, and on the day, hoping that you get only 3 wrong, I think, which is still the rule, I think. 3 wrong out of 30. All right, travel adventures with John and Maria coming in from El Campello. Beautiful day. Many people strolling on the Paseo. Absolutely. Enjoying the weather down there on the Med. Thanks for that. All right, now another comment here. Let's have a look. From Gloria. As the cost of living increases but wages remain the same, it's a global issue. People have to rethink starting a family. I am number 9 of 10 kids. My parents were able to purchase a home, feed, clothe, and insure us all on my father's income alone. Of course, this was in the 70s. That's not the reality nowadays. Yeah, this was related to a piece of news that we saw the other day about the fact that Spain's birth rate continues to decline for the third year in a row. People are just choosing not to have children, basically, and there were a lot more deaths than births or something the other day, according to the Statistics Institute. And the average size family here in Spain, I think, is not even one child if you do the average across the whole population. Whereas, back in the 50s and 60s, people had big families here, like some people did in the States. My father comes from a big family. There were 6 kids in that family. So in Australia, after the Second World War, it was also common for people to have big families. But of course, that's also on the decline in countries like Australia as well. But people that do have kids in Australia, all of my cousins, my sister's got 3, all of my cousins seem to have 2 or 3 kids. So people have bigger families than here. Here, you'll meet a lot of people with 1, maybe 2, but not many more than that, unless they're very religious and belong to a certain religious order. Then you'll see big families still, where people are having 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 kids. I know I met one family a couple of years ago that had 12 kids, and in the news every now and again you see these big families here. I think the record's like 16 or 17 kids, but very, very rare. And even less than 1 nowadays is the average, because people prefer to do other things, I imagine. And also the social conditions here in Spain are completely different. People get into the labour market late. People can't get onto the property ladder, so all of those things contribute. And when a lot of people get a partner and want to start a family, they can't because of health issues or biological issues and things like that. So all of those things mean that here in Spain, not many people are having kids anymore. And it is a trend, but as Gloria points out there, back in the 70s, you only needed 1 income per family, and people seem to get by, whereas nowadays, even with 2 salaries coming in, a lot of people just don't get by. So times have changed, and mortgages were, the time for mortgages back in the 70s as well. I remember hearing stories of people that had mortgages for 10, 12, 15 years, and now 30, 35, 40. So the conditions have changed, of course, and people preferring to do other things like travel and enjoy life rather than starting families. But a topic for another day. Now, like button back on the screen. Let us know if you... hit the like button, please, just below. And also let us know if you come from a big family or a small family, or what your opinions are on the fact that Spanish people are not having kids anymore. What are some of the reasons? Do you agree with me, or have you got your own theory? Let us know. All right, back into the chat section. Let's have a look. Plenty of activity today. I'm not sure that I'll be able to get through everything, but I'll try. What else we got going on here? Santiago. Does anyone on here know how long you have to reside in Spain to keep citizenship? Not sure, Santiago. If you're a Spanish citizen, I imagine it's for life. Or are you talking about another citizenship? Not sure. But if anybody's got some information there for Santiago, please let him know. What else we got going on here? Michelle. With Remy, they want to study together, maybe, to get that driving license. As I said, guys, memorization is the key. Look at the questions in the book, memorize them, and you should be able to get 30 questions out of the 3,000, however many are in that book, and you should be okay. That's what I did, and that's what everybody does. It's pure memorization to get it. And then once you get your license, all of the knowledge that you have learnt goes out the window, and you start driving like a Spaniard. All right, good. Let's have a look. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look. If we can find something here quickly. Miguelin's roasting some Spanish chestnuts right now. Hope you enjoy, Miguel. And what else we got going on here? Let's see if I can find something here quickly. Janet pointing out that Australia won the Rugby League World Cup. There we go. Yeah, but Rugby League's not rugby union, Janet, as we know. Rugby League is... Australia seems to dominate in Rugby League because it's probably one of the strongest leagues in the world down there in two Australian states, New South Wales and Queensland, are where it is played the most. Victoria's got a team as well, the Melbourne Storm, but only one. But rugby union's the big world game, I think, and Australia's been pretty bad for a while now. We were good back in the 90s. I remember celebrating a World Cup, Rugby Union World Cup back in the day, Janet, but hasn't been much glory since then. But rugby league's a different story, of course. And Australian rules. If that was an international sport, I'm sure we would dominate that also. But it's only played in Australia in a couple of states. So not, it's played in more states now, but as a organic sport, only in 3 states. But, hopefully we will get better on the rugby union pitch in the future. Now we're up to the 40-minute mark, so I'm going to cut the live stream short. Thanks, everybody, for your participation today watching the video. Thanks, everybody, for participating in the chat section. Thanks for the super chat from Alan before. Greatly appreciated. I'll see everybody on Tuesday again for another live stream. Hope to see everybody back then again. Back again tomorrow with a regular video and maybe some more content throughout the week. So see you guys then. Hasta luego. Adios. Hasta entonces. Bye-bye.